Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Marc Gallagher, and as we look back on the year that was, 2020 was a lot of things, and also for me it was my first year of having Patreon. So I kind of want to talk about my experiences of having Patreon and building that platform and my videos as a whole, and I thought I'd just have a little chat to you guys for a few minutes. To begin with, my videos, they started back in 2018 in the summer. I was just finishing up university, and as we were starting to gig more, I noticed that venues and clients were asking for videos, examples of what I sounded like, and I realized I didn't have much of that. So I started doing videos in my uni's recording studio just to give an example of what I sounded like. And as I was releasing these out to the public, I was setting them, you know, a week apart, new videos every Wednesday, to sort of give a sense of anticipation for what was to come. And I guess I built that anticipation, and then I just felt that I had to stick to it. So every Wednesday I just started doing new videos. They range from like nice studio things like you might have seen in the early days to also various location videos where I went to some interesting places and did songs that kind of had a pun in the title. See Tennessee Whiskey at a distillery, or Sweet Home Chicago at the Bean, or the Route 66 song by the Route 66 start sign, for example. And also some point around 2019, collaborations just started like taking off and they became their own thing, but that's another video. And at some point last year, I had a few people saying, "Hey Mark, have you considered getting Patreon?" I'd first heard of Patreon from my favourite band at the time, Walk Off the Earth. A few years ago, they did it and they started building support for their videos and their content and tours and stuff through that. I was aware of it since like 2017, I'd like to say, but I didn't really know too much about it or care that much, I guess. But by late 2019, I was thinking, well, if I'm doing 2 videos a week, people are getting a lot of content out of me, they're getting a lot of entertainment from me, fingers crossed they can sort of like reward it in a way. So I gave it a crack. Initially, the idea was just to sort of help get me through the January blues, and because of coronavirus, January blues extended for an entire pissing year. So it is starting at $2 a month, and there were dollars because you couldn't change your currency 12 months ago. I've been putting out all sorts of shit. I've made sure, like, it's been such a kick up the arse to like make me commit to doing 2 videos a week, a collaboration and a solo video. It's made me commit to things like bulk recording. I'll set up a session and I'll record about 4 or 5 songs, and that's content-wise, that'll keep me going for like a month or so. Sometimes with the collaboration videos, I've had to skip a week, or I've had to get inventive and do a duet with myself or with Alexa.
She's got a brother. We don't get on with one another.
But I do admire the pressure, well, motivation, but sometimes pressure of having Patreon, having these paying customers, I guess, even if it's from just those lowly tiers. I love the fact that I've been able to keep driven to doing content for you guys. But one of the things I wanted to mention about my Patreon is that I do more work than you guys probably sort of see on the surface watching things like this. As it currently stands, I do 2 videos every week. I do a solo video and I do a collaboration. This adds up to about 8 videos a week. So for every video I do, there is a chord sheet that comes with it, and also a tutorial telling my audience who pays at that tier how to play this song and some of the salt and pepper that I add to it to make it shine. And not only am I doing all of this, but I'm also constantly stressing about like running out of content. So I'm always thinking about making new videos. I'm always chatting to collaborators to sort out my next project, to get the next video and sending parts. And it's a constant cycle of like, with collaborations especially, it's like recording my parts, sending it to them sending it back, me mixing it, me editing it. I schedule it for upload, and I upload it in 3 different places: YouTube, Facebook, schedule it for Patreon, and then when it goes live, put that on Instagram. And Jesus Christ, music's so hard. Recently, I'm finding myself in the constant spiral of just trying to keep up, like giving out the content for my patrons. I'm still worried that what I'm doing isn't enough, even though every month for like £5, you know, a cup of coffee, or even for £10, 2 cups of coffee, they're getting 8 videos, 8 chord sheets, 8 tutorial videos and tabs for instrumentals and other things. Me word. But I've had some absolutely fantastic support from my patrons. I can't thank them enough. I know that twice a week you see me shout out my patrons of the $5 tier or more, but I'd also like to shout out some of the people on the $2 and $3 tiers. Thank you so much, John Pointer, Johan Casey, Sam Lyon, Mike August, David Neal and Sabrina Volfire. I'm grateful to have support on all levels, and I like the fact that my Patreon thus far is earning me about £100 a month. So here I stand, 12 months in, and I've got 25 patrons or so, and again, I'm making about 100 quid a month or so. Full disclosure, I've not actually spent any of that money yet. All the funds I get from Patreon essentially go into another account of which I can later withdraw from. Currently, I'm just letting it sit there. On the one hand, it's there for a rainy day mostly, just in case shit hits the fan. But like my dream is to kind of raise enough money to sort of fund my next album or EP, and maybe I can, after long enough of letting it stay there, I can eventually have an entirely crowdfunded album. That'd be amazing. My biggest con with Patreon is probably the fact that it can't host video. Rather than me uploading a video to Patreon, I have to upload it to YouTube via unlisted link, and then I have to sort of share that with Patreon, and that's a bit of a hassle. It means that when I have sort of like little tidbits of like, oh, here's an idea that I just put in a 30-second video, I can't really do that because I'd have to upload it to YouTube, unlisted, and then share that, and it's all a bit of a hassle. But what I found really rewarding with Patreon is that I've had support from all kinds of people, and not just like friends. I've got supporters from the UK, from Germany, Austria, the United States, from Canada. A lot of these people I don't know personally, and I've never met them, but they like my music and they support what I do, and I think that's incredible. It's rewarding knowing that you have sort of like true fans that aren't just mates just being kind to you, I guess. A mantra of mine for a while has been like, my friends are not necessarily my fans. Liking my music isn't a condition of friendship for me. I'm quite at peace that, you know, you can be my friend and not like the stuff I put out, and that's okay. And I guess the opposite's also true. Just because like you like my music doesn't necessarily mean I have to take you out for dinner. I mean, I've already had some creepy messages, but my point is, I love the fact that I've got like real fans, people who care about the stuff I do, and not just from a place of like obligatory friendship relatedness. It's been a good year on Patreon. I chose a pretty decent year to do it and like focus my attention on such a platform in a chance where I couldn't like work musically and gig. Through Patreon, it's given me the motivation and the drive to kind of commit to my videos, and I felt rewarded as a result of that. My goal for the next 12 months is to go up from 25 patrons to 40. I'd like to be making about a couple $100 or £200 maybe. I'd really like. What I'd like is for my videos and my Patreon and stuff to sort of make up half of what I'm doing musically in terms of the money that I'm making. That'd be something I'd really like to have going forward. And I guess one of the last things I want to mention before I sign off is don't feel afraid to like subscribe on the lower tier. Don't feel afraid to go on the $2 or $3 tier. It's a cup of coffee, it's a drink at a bar, it's not something you're going to notice. And if I have enough people sort of joining me on these lower tiers, they will all add up, and what seems like nothing to you because it's £3, it's a drink, it is a coffee, that'll really go towards sort of helping my career grow and helping me rebuild a career after having it taken away from what was a really shitty year. So anyway guys, that was my little rant on Patreon and my experiences with it in the last 12 months. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully you are at Patreon. If not, head over to patreon.com/Marc Gallagher Music and make your pledge from as little as $2 a month. God, I get it in there. Hell, join from the lower tier. I would love to see you there. Also, bonus question, I'm really interested in this. Do you subscribe to anyone on Patreon or similar subscription-based service? If so, may I ask whom? What sort of things do you look for? What sort of things do you want from someone's Patreon? I'm really interested in tailoring this experience to make it suit you guys best. And if you like my music and you're watching this video, you probably do. I'd love to know what I can do to sort of help, not persuade you, but sort of help entice you into being a really big supporter of mine. My name is Marc Gallagher, my dogs are barking, and I will see you guys very soon. Thank you for watching.